What's up, guys? I'm gonna do a quick little video update for you. These are the RokBlokz fender flares. Start with the front. I'll tell you what I like, and then I'll tell you what I don't like. I ordered the mud busters at first. Didn't like them. Didn't like how they fit. Didn't like the directions. Didn't like all the drilling. You do some drilling here, obviously. And most importantly, I didn't like that the mud busters didn't have brackets. So these have really nice, beefy brackets. And this bracket right here actually ties in to the factory bracket. See how that factory bracket is? That all ties together. So the RokBlokz is a way more well thought out, way stronger, in my opinion, better looking setup. So on the front, they have a really good detailed installation video, so I didn't bother making one for you. I'll link it in the description. Basically, you put these 5 bolts, they give you little inserts in your factory holes. You drill 2 holes here. You only go through this side of it. There's a spacer there. That all bolts on like that. These up here, back here, these tie into your factory points. You bend the tabs up, and you got these 3 bolts right here. They are a little flimsy towards the front, just like the factory fender was, but really not bad. Back here, very solid. The only thing that was tricky is getting this spacer in here. You really got to push this fender up into this corner. Make sure this lines up right here. This lines up right here. It follows the factory model lines very nicely. No big gaps. Their hardware is really nice. They give you little spacers between here, so you're not just bending plastic. Very good hardware, very nice quality. Only thing I don't like is you end up with this big gap here. I'm not sure if the Mudbuster has that either. It doesn't look terrible, and there's not much you can do with it because it's slanted, but you do have a big gap here. And when you're cleaning, something to think about is you do have a gap under here now, so you can kind of pull that down maybe and get the water hose in there to clean it a little bit, but something to think about. Maybe spray the hose from the back here, because some mud is going to get up in there. But there's a big cutout right here where it can fall out. This fits good, no mud should get under there. That's the front. You end up drilling 2 holes here, which you can't see afterwards, and 3 holes here, but you know, it's a cheap piece of plastic, so I don't mind drilling it. The rear, a little more involved. So the first thing you do is you install these brackets up here and here. They give these nice little clips. There's not really any nuts to hold on to. Very sweet install. And then you use these tabs you bend down here and here to hold it in place while you get everything lined up. I started tightening from here and I worked my way back. One thing I don't like, this little seam right here on the factory flare doesn't come out super great. It wasn't super great from Honda. You can see a little light coming through here. I'm about to adjust that. I need to move that in a little bit. Some light coming through here. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit. The holes are cut a little bigger so you can adjust them. This is where the 2 come together. Very nice. These back ones are super solid, even out here. The mud busters, I've seen them get mud and flap down. The fact that they added this bracket and added this bracket, which ties in the flare to the factory bracket, is a huge plus. The one complaint I really have is that this bolt, this button head, and this button head were too long. If I didn't cut them, it would have been a gap here because it would have been pushing this factory flare up when you put those in there. So all 4 of those I trimmed off 1/4 of an inch and it fits perfect now. Same thing on this side. And again, behind here, you're not just tightening against this. There's this plastic spacer and a washer. Very well thought out. And it's adjustable, so they gave you a slot right there. So if they start to droop over time, you can crank them up, or if you like them sticking up more for, I don't know, a more aggressive look. That's how I thought it looked best. So that's how I did it. I think they look super clean. The main reason I wanted flares is for this coverage right here, because this tire throws mud right in the back of your passenger's head or up into your snorkel area. The fronts will help too, but I don't think they're gonna get the problem with the spray. These tires throw so much mud forward, it kind of sprays into the cab. So for today's ride, I'm gonna put back on the stock tires to, number 1, haul ass, and number 2, do a better comparison to how these fender flares would work on the stock tires. Directions are excellent, really good pictures and write-ups. Something I rarely say is that the directions are good. They have a YouTube video. I watched it quickly on the plane last night and didn't really need the directions after watching the video, but I did refer to them a few times and they're very thorough, just like the YouTube video they posted. But I mean, super good fit and finish. Everywhere you look, everything lines up square. I think they're miles ahead of the Mudbusters. I ended up selling my Mudbusters. And of course, the coolest thing about RokBlokz is give you some candy in the box, which to me is really cool because I grew up in the garage, you know, working on stuff, and you get pissed off on something. Dad says, just eat a piece of candy and not be mad at it anymore. Magic, it works. But yeah, pretty good install. My really only gripes are this gap right here, which I'm not sure you could really fix, and that these 4 bolts are a little too long, 2 on each side. Those are a little too long. And I guess my other gripe was I thought I was getting the gray color bottom piece, so it'd be like black and gray, which I really like the look of. This is gray on some of them. Maybe they only sell black. I didn't really see an option on the website, so I ordered this one. And it's all black, which is fine. It looks good. I wouldn't mind having the gray piece. I suspect I may have to eventually trim those, probably an inch or two off the bottom because they hang down pretty far. The kind of stuff we do, that's going to get abused, but we'll see how they hold up. If I have problems with them getting caught in the tire or whatnot, I'll trim them. But yeah, so far so good.